I'm flipping mountain bikes, and in this video, I'm going to show you I over tripled my money with this flip. This flip took only $150 of investment, and this is my second bike in the series. Each video in this series, I'm going to be buying a bigger and better bike in every single video. So far, I flipped this 2022 Marin Ballonius Ridge 2 and profited $200. In this video, I'm going to show you I over tripled my money in just 3 days of work. Before I get into the flip, I'm going to set some ground rules. The rules for this challenge are simple. First, every bike flip funds the next one. The only way I can make money is from the bike that I flip or from the parts that I sell, and any cost of the mechanical fixes or the products I use to clean up the bike or fix it cut into my profits. A couple of weeks ago, I found this 2022 Marin Ballonius Ridge 2. I made a video on this already, but to keep it short, I profited $200 with just 3 hours of work. I used the profit from that bike to fund the next flip. And throughout the series, as the profit keeps going up, flip to flip, I'll be buying bigger and better bikes every single time. So make sure you subscribe to see the entire journey until I can afford my dream bike, which is a Specialized Epic. The bike that I ended up flipping was this 2020 Specialized Rockhopper. Usually these bikes go for almost $600 used, and this specific bike has some great components. It has hydraulic disc brakes, a 1x drivetrain, an air suspension front fork that even has a lockout on it, and it has a beautiful paint job with no imperfections. This is a great beginner bike to flip because it's a hardtail and there's no complicated parts of it like a dropper post or anything, which means this bike appeals to a wider variety of people. I found this bike almost instantly, and this is exactly how I did it. My first step to finding my flips is always setting my Facebook Marketplace search radius to 10 miles. Secondly, I set my search price to $200, which is what I was willing to spend for this challenge. Next, I always make sure to find a listing with crappy photos or a short description because this means they're just trying to get rid of the bike. And finally, I make sure the seller doesn't look like they're gonna kill me. Every time I buy or sell a bike, I always use Facebook Marketplace because it's the easiest site to sell on. It has the widest variety of people looking to buy a bike, and it's always the easiest for messaging and creating deals. So with all of this in mind, I almost instantly found this bike. The way that I usually find these deals is to see if they're recently posted because other people trying to buy it and get a profit haven't seen it yet. And this exact bike I actually found 10 minutes after the person had listed it. I was probably the first person to message them, and that's probably how I got this deal. The easy way I always find to make sure that this is a good bike is I relook it up on Marketplace and I see what they're usually selling for. And in this specific example, I saw that this bike was selling for around $600. I also saw that in the photos this bike was dirty, so I knew she was just trying to get rid of it. And with all of this in mind, I asked her to meet up, and right after she said yes, so I went to go get it. Alright, so I just got to the spot to meet the seller to pick up this brand new bike, and I always get super nervous before I buy my flips because I'm not sure if they're going to let me negotiate or not, but I'm planning on offering $100 just because I think I can get $50 off the asking price, because I'm pretty sure she's also including like a bike pump and some other small things, so I'm pretty sure I can just take those out of the total. Even though I'm nervous, I'm still super excited because I think this is one of the best flips that I could have possibly found, and I think with all the profit from this bike, I'm going to be able to buy something crazy in the future. Okay, so I didn't film the rest, but basically I rode the bike in a circle and went through the gears and made sure the brakes worked. And after knowing it was all good, I just decided to buy it at $150. Once I got home, I cleaned it with my own bike soap called Summit Bike Wash, and this is kind of cheating because it didn't cut into my profits at all. This is because I make it and it's my own company. When I clean my bikes, I make sure that I get all of the small parts and areas because it makes a huge difference when people actually see it in person. I also always make sure to lubricate the chain and the suspension so when the buyer eventually rides the bike, it feels smooth and rides quietly. There was also a couple of issues, like the reflectors were still on it, and the worst was the dork disc was still on it, but I removed those pretty fast. Also, the bike came with these small bags, which I removed too. These changes make the bike a clean slate for the next buyer, and it can help them visualize what they're going to look like when they're riding the bike, which can help motivate someone to buy the bike. I adjusted all of the different contact points and suspension for my liking so I could go give it a ride. Starting in this video, every single bike that I flip in this series, I'm going to be reviewing on 3 different levels. The first category I'm ranking it on is the jumps and wheelie category. This bike is fine on wheelies, but it was way too heavy and awkward to do good jumps on. Also, because it's a size large and I usually ride a medium, this gets a 5 out of 10. Next, we have the looks category. This bike has some fine looks and a great color overall, but I don't think anyone would actually be impressed by it, so I give it a 6 out of 10. And finally, the last ranking is for value. Given that this bike was $150, it is a steal for all the features and how new it is. I seriously don't think I could have found a better deal on Marketplace. Alright, so now we're to the part of the video where I try and sell this bike and actually earn my profit. After I did all the ranking and stuff like that, I did one more cleaning of the bike and one last little tune-up to make sure it was perfect for the next buyer. After doing this, it came to the most important part of the flip. flip, which is the photos. I always make sure I use the biggest zoom lens on my phone because it makes the photos look more professional. I also make sure to show every part of the bike that is scratched or damaged and anything of interest, such as the rear derailleur, the suspension, and the size. The difference between using the 1x or 0.5x camera can make people scroll past your listing very easily, so that's why I use the more zoomed in lens. As far as the listing, I just wrote some basic info like the size, year, and condition, and I always put a link to the website where the bike was sold at the bottom of the description. This is always my least favorite part of Marketplace because this is where I really think the money is, and that's in dealing with the people. A lot of the time people just send you short messages or they're not actually serious about buying something, and this usually makes people just post it for a low price so that they can get rid of it fast. And this is where all of the money is made, is in dealing with the people, taking the photos, and making the description as good as you possibly can. After I posted this bike, all I had to do is wait a couple of days and the messages started flooding in. The person that actually ended up buying this bike was messaging me on the first day that it was posted, and the only reason I didn't sell it the same day of is because we couldn't meet up on a time. Alright, so after a couple days we finally found a time to meet up, and this is how it went. By the way, I didn't record a video of the buyer just because I wanted to protect their privacy. So here's the audio recording that I got. Howdy. Good, how are you? Good. Sweet, yeah, so here it is. Yeah, so 2020 as far as I know, Specialized Rockhopper, perfect condition, like not a scratch on it.
Yeah, looks like it was in good condition. But I got 550 here.
Okay, cool. Sweet, yeah. Honestly, I think this flip went so smooth, and you can hear in the video, like, nothing went wrong. It was so easy to talk to this guy, and he was just in a rush to get the bike, so there was nothing I even had to tell him about it. And just like that, I profited $410 in just a couple days of work. All right, so now it's time for the price breakdown. I spent $150 buying this bike, probably about $5 in gas and $0 on soap and other tools. So this brings the total to just $155. And I probably only took about 3 hours to actually get this bike sold and out the door. It took me about 30 minutes just scrolling around on Facebook to find a good deal like this, and that's usually the hardest part. It took me 45 minutes to go drive and come back to get the bike. It took me about 45 minutes to get it cleaned and all tuned and ready to go. And finally, it took me about an hour of messaging people back and forth and getting a time to meet the buyer. So somehow this one flip profited me $136.67 per hour. This is unmatched by any other side hustle you could do for the time that it takes, and you can do this with any niche. I'm into mountain bikes, so I do this with mountain bikes, but you can do it with skateboards, skis, you can do it with literally anything on the market that you can buy on Facebook and make a profit just because people want to get rid of it. All right, so with my new combined profit of $610, that gives me a great budget for the next bike flip video. Next video, I'm going to be able to spend that money to buy something even better so that hopefully I can sell it and get an even bigger profit. Make sure you subscribe to see the next video in this series, and make sure to keep watching until I get my Specialized app.